Hello students, welcome back to my channel Commerce Talk with Sadhana, and this is part 9 of class 12th macroeconomics. And we have completed a few topics of this chapter yesterday and are going to finish the rest topics today. Let's start with commercial banks, and today our topic will be finished. Let's start with commercial bank. That what are commercial banks? A commercial bank is a financial institution that accepts deposits from the public and lends money to those who need it. Earning profit through interest rate is its spread or profit. Means commercial bank is that institution which accept deposits from borrowers and lend it to some investors at some rate of interest, and the difference between this deposit rate and lending rate is commercial bank's spread, that is its commercial bank's income. Got it? So functions of commercial banks are: primary function is accepting deposits. So primary function of commercial bank is to accept deposits from customers. Deposit may be demand deposit and fixed deposit. There are two types of deposit. First one is demand deposit and second one is fixed deposit. As its name suggests, that demand deposit is that type of deposit that can be withdrawn anytime by check, or it contains no interest or very low interest. It is also considered as current or saving account. So that account from which money we can withdraw at any time is known as demand deposits. It is known as demand deposit because the money can be withdrawn on demand of the consumer. Next one is time deposit. Its name suggests its type, that time deposits are those deposits that deposited for a fixed period of time, high interest, and it cannot be withdrawn on demand. Is it clear? So demand deposit can be withdrawn anytime, it cannot be withdrawn anytime, it has a fixed time, rate of interest is very low in demand deposit, whereas rate of interest is high in fixed deposit. So this was primary function of commercial bank, to accept deposit. And second primary function is to advance loan. So deposit from public and give loans to customers or borrowers. So next is credit, cash credit, overdraft, loans and advances, and discounting bills of exchange. All these are types through which commercial bank can advance loans. Let me repeat once again: cash credit, overdraft, loans and advances, and discount bills of exchange. These all are types of advancing loans. And secondary function of commercial banks are these four are agency functions, and next four are utility or general utility functions. Means where commercial bank will act as an agent is known as agency functions. For example, commercial bank will collect and pay on the behalf of its customer. Commercial bank will transfer fund on the behalf of its customer, purchase and sale of security, and act as trustee or executor of the customer. For collection and payment, example is that customer collect check, commercial bank collect check, pay dividends, pay bills, and also pay insurance premium on the behalf of customer. Next agency function is transfer of fund. Commercial bank transfer fund from one account to another account on the behalf of customer. Transfer can be NEFT, RTGS, IMPS. These all are types of transaction which we can do in transfer of funds. This we will study in detail. Next agency function is purchase and sale of security. securities like shares and debentures. Next is acting as trustee. Commercial bank also act as trustee or executor for any customer. Got it? Next comes is general utility function. First is locker facility. Bank provide locker facility in which customer can keep their essential items safely. Next is issue letter of credit or traveler's check. What is letter of credit or traveler's check? It facilitate trade and travel related payments. Next is underwriting securities. That is commercial bank guarantee sale of shares or debenture of company. Next is providing trade information. So commercial bank also provide trade information like credit reports or business information to customers. All these were functions of commercial bank. Now let's come to our main apex body of banking system, that is our central bank, which is known as Reserve Bank of India. So now we are going to study about RBI. So central bank is an apex financial institution of the country that control, regulates and stabilize the monetary and banking system. Please listen it carefully. RBI controls, regulates and stabilize the money and banking system of country. In India, this RBI was established in 1935 and RBI Act was in 1934. Apex bank. RBI is an apex bank, that means it is at the top of banking structure. It does not deal directly with public. It doesn't work for profit motive. It only works for economic stability and it is sole authority of issue currency notes and authority to issue currency coins is Ministry of Finance. Got it? Next is what are the functions of RBI of India. First of all, it issue currency. It is sole authority in India to issue currency notes except rupee 1 note or coin. It is a banker to government, that means it manages accounts, receipt and payments of central and state government. So it acts as a banker of government. It is also banker's bank, that means it holds cash reserves of all commercial banks, lends to them or also supervise them. So it accepts deposit from them and it also lends to commercial banks, also supervise them. Next is controller of credit, that means it regulates volume and direction of credit via monetary policy tools. So it is duty of RBI to control money supply and to regulate monetary policies through qualitative or quantitative tools. We have some qualitative tools and some are quantitative tools to control money supply in the economy. We will study these tools later. Next is custodian of foreign exchange, that is it also maintains forex reserve, manages exchange rate stability. So the foreign exchange reserves which are of India are deposited with RBI. It is lenders of last resort, that is it provides emergency funds to banking facing a liquidity crisis. So whenever there is an emergency or any requirement of any bank, so it go directly to RBI. Next is clearing house. It settles interbank claim through clearing house mechanism. And last one is promotional development. It promotes banking habits, rural credit and financial inclusion. So all these are functions of RBI. Next is what is monetary policy and its meaning and objectives are given. So students, first of all, monetary policy will be related to money. This basic concept is clear. Now what is monetary policy? Monetary policy is that policy which is adopted by RBI. So who is the sole authority to decide about monetary policy? That is RBI. To regulate the supply of money and credit in the economy to achieve macroeconomic goals. Got it? So what are objectives? Price stability, to make price stable in the country, maintain a stable rupee value, to provide full employment to peoples of India, to promote sustainable GDP growth, that is gross domestic product growth, and to ensure a sound banking system. All these are objectives that why RBI regulates or make monetary policy. These all are the objectives for that. Next is, what are the instruments through which RBI regulates monetary policy in the country? Got it? So there are two types of instruments. First one is quantitative instruments and next is qualitative instruments. Got it? So quantitative instruments are those instruments which are directly related with interest rates. That is, first is CRR, cash reserve ratio. So what is cash reserve ratio? It is that percentage of net demand and time liabilities bank must keep as cash reserve with RBI. So it is that percentage of deposits. I am telling you in a simple language that CRR is that percent of deposit which bank must keep with RBI. Got it? For example, this is a commercial bank. It has to keep some funds with itself and some funds give to RBI. Got it? So the funds which are given to RBI are known as CRR, cash reserve ratio. Now listen that if RBI wants to increase money supply in the economy, then what it should do? To increase money supply in the economy, RBI must decrease cash reserve ratios so that commercial bank will deposit less money with RBI and give more amount for lending. Got it? So the money supply will increase, and vice versa. If RBI wants to decrease money supply, it will increase CRR. That is to control inflation. When inflation is there in any country, RBI wants to decrease money supply in the economy. Then what RBI will do? RBI will increase CRR so that commercial banks will be less able to give borrowings to customers or in the economy. Next one is our SLR, that is statutory liquidity ratio. That percentage of deposit that bank must keep with itself as liquid assets. It also works same as CRR to control inflation. Next is repo rate. It stands for repurchase agreement rate. That is repo rate. Repurchase agreement rate. So it is that rate at which RBI lends short-term funds to commercial banks. Same, RBI will increase this rate so that the lending which is given by RBI to commercial bank will be of higher rate of interest. Got it? So when commercial bank will receive higher rate of interest as borrowing, then commercial bank also lend at higher rate of interest to customers or in the economy. So when loan become expensive, less customers will borrow the money. Next is reverse repo rate. It is that rate at which RBI borrows fund from commercial banks. Got it? When RBI is giving loan to commercial bank. This is repurchase. But when commercial banks gives loan to RBI, that is reverse repo rate. Same increase repo rate. And bank rate, the rate at which RBI lends long term funds. Please listen it carefully. At here repurchase agreement, it was short term funds, but when I am talking about bank rate, that is for long term funds, and same treatment is there. To control inflation, whether it is any type of rate, that must be increased. Next is ROMO, that is open market operations. In these operations, RBI sale and purchase of government security in the open market to contract and expansion of money supply. So if RBI wants to increase money supply, then he will, if RBI wants to increase money supply in the economy, got it? So if he want to increase money supply, then he will purchase the securities, but if he decrease to money supply, he will sell the securities. So to control inflation, RBI will sell securities. So all these are quantitative instrument that works as to control money supply. Next comes is our qualitative instruments. What are qualitative instruments? Unlike quantitative instruments, which affect the total volume of credit, qualitative tools control the direction, quality and purpose of credit. So main difference between quantitative tools and qualitative tools are that quantitative tools are those tools which affect total volume of credit or directly related with the credit. But while I am talking about qualitative tools, qualitative tools are not directly related with the credit, as well as it controls the direction, quality and purpose of credit. Got it? So the tools of qualitative instruments are, first one is margin requirement. What is margin requirement? Margin requirement is difference between loan amount and value of security offered. It raised to discourage speculative borrowings. For example, if RBI wants to discourage the lending, it will increase the margin. And margin between what? Margin between the loan amount and the security offered. Next tool is our moral suasion. What is moral suasion? RBI persuades bank through advice, request and informal pressure that will be no legal binding. It only suggests advice or indirectly order. Next is rationing of credit. RBI sets credit quota for different sectors, limiting excess lending to any one sector. So it is also a limitation. Next one is direct action. That is, what is direct action? That RBI can directly enter in the transaction, or RBI can penalize or refuse further credit to banks who don't comply with directives. In this, RBI can give penalty, RBI can fix penalty on commercial bank. RBI can also discard its banking license. Got it? Next one is publicity. RBI publishes data and reports to guide credit policy expectations of banks and the public. So these were qualitative instruments which are used by RBI for money supply control. So here our chapter is finished. If you have any doubts, please tell me in the comment section. See you in the next class.